singing about. But when they talk about Jesus, it's the best thing. Could be anybody in the world, but if it's Jesus, the best thing that ever happened to you. Now you got something. Because man will let you down. But when you know that Jesus is the best thing, let us pray. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on me. Sit Michael down and you rise up in me. The people need to hear a word from you, Lord. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Let all the people say, amen. Amen. So glad that you are here this afternoon. And God knew exactly where you would be. He set you up for victory. We give honor to Pastor Dumas, to Senior Pastor Morgan, to Reverend Zachary Dumas, to all of my brothers and sisters in Christ. We say good afternoon to you. And no matter what you think about it, you're in the right place at the right time. And we're on good time. And I'd like to say happy birthday and happy retirement to Ms. Martha Jones. And I too am celebrating. And no, it's not my birthday. I'm not retired yet. But 7 years ago, on the 5th Sunday in April, I preached my first sermon. So I too have an anniversary. I too have a right to talk about Jesus and his goodness. And so when I asked Pastor, could I have that 5th Sunday, he didn't question it. I don't know if he remembered or not, but 5th Sunday in April, 7 years ago, God gave me a word. And it ain't always been easy, but he keep on blessing me. So we can celebrate. And sometimes you need to celebrate together. Shout with somebody. If you have your Bibles, come and go with me to the 4th chapter of Ephesians. And somebody say, don't feel like 7 years. My Lord. When you want time to go fast, it goes slow. But when you look back over the years, you begin to wonder, where did all the time go? 7 years ago, I still didn't have no hair, but I didn't have all this gray. The 4th chapter of Ephesians, 2 verses there, 11 and 12. And it reads, and he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body. And for a thought this morning, got some. Got some. So the question on the floor is, do you got some? And I'd like to start off with something funny, just so you know I'm not so serious. A postal worker, well, where my postal workers at? Because I'm going to pick on some postal workers this morning. A postal worker was sorting mail, and he finds an unstamped and a poorly handwritten envelope addressed to God. He opens it and he discovers it's from an elderly lady, and she's distressed because she lost her $100. And she writes that she's going to be cold and hungry for the rest of the month if she does not receive some divine intervention. So the postal worker immediately organizes a collection among the other postal employees. And they come up with $96. And they send the envelope out for delivery that morning, and it simply says, "From God." A week later, the same postal employee recognizes the handwriting on the envelope. He opens it and it reads, "Dear God, thank you for the $100. This month would have been so bleak otherwise without it. P.S. It was $4 short. But it was probably those thieving postal employees." Come on, somebody. We don't realize exactly who is blessing us. Somebody could have blessed you and you already cussing them out. God will use people to bless you. And the same people you think hurting you could be the ones that are blessing you. Thank God for a blessing. Looking right at these two verses, 11 and 12. And he gave some apostles. So the question that you need to be asking me, preacher, who is he? Who is he? He is. You can look at, if you still got your Bible open, look at that 6th verse. And it will tell you who he is. One God and Father of all. Somebody say all. All. Who is above all? Somebody say all. All. And through all, somebody say all. All. And in you, all. That's who he is. And you ain't got to wait. You can shout right there knowing that he is all. Because late in the midnight hour when you can't get nobody on the phone, he'll step right in there on time. Late in the midnight hour, when you're going through what you're going through, I dare you declare he's all in all. See if the wheel in the middle of the wheel won't come see about you. You ain't got to wait to shout. Just declare that all. And all is one of those words. You ain't even have to explain it. He is my all. And he gave some apostles. And some prophets. And we're going to look at those two right there. The apostle has answered the question of who he is, but he gave apostles. Because too many times you will find people calling themselves apostle this or prophet that. Did he give? To some he gave. So when you think about the word apostles or prophets, a prophet is one who utterly, divinely inspired revelations, such as one of the prophetic books of the Bible. So if you have not written a book of the Bible, unqualified to call yourself a prophet. I wish I had some help in here. A prophet, one whose word never fails. We're talking about Daniel, Ezekiel, Elijah. How can I, as a minister of the gospel, say that I am an apostle or a prophet? It says, imagine a foundation being built. Once the foundation is already built, you cannot build another foundation. You can only build up on top of the word. What if somebody came in here right now and said they are the founder of Evening Star? We would look at them like, you crazy. Because Evening Star was founded by Pastor Harden and was here since 1941. So if they came in here right now and say, I founded Evening Star, we would say, no, you got to go on somewhere. But imagine, if you will, somebody came to America and people already here talking about, I founded America. Mr. Columbus, I'm talking to you. How can you have discovered something when people are already there? How can you have discovered something when it's already got a name, and the name is America? Named after Americo Vespucci. Can I teach some history? And he may not even been the first one there. He's just the first one to write about it. Because really, if you go back to 1477, there was a guy by the name of Leif Erikson. And somebody said, who was that? Exactly. He was the first one who have written about that there's a land out there called America, and somebody needs to go check it out. So when you think about people, I can call myself whatever I want to call myself. But am I really that? You have to look and see when they call themselves prophet or apostle. To some he gave evangelist. An evangelist, I can call myself an evangelist, because evangelist just goes from church to church preaching the gospel. An evangelist can help you find a good church. They don't have a particular home. They'll go from town to town preaching and telling the good news of Jesus. And to some he gave pastors and teachers. And you don't have to be a teacher to be a pastor. But a good pastor ought to be able to teach. And if the pastor can't teach, we got some problems. You ought to be able to teach, and everybody's not equipped to teach. You have to have patience if you're teaching young folk. You have to have patience if you're teaching someone who's going to constantly question everything you do. Teachers. To some he gave teachers. And why did he give us these? He gave us these that we might be perfected. I don't know about you, but I've got some problems. Anybody got some? I've got some situations, but we need to be perfected. God is not done dealing with me yet. He gave us pastors and teachers, an overseer, if you will, a clergy person serving in the local church. The pastor is to shepherd over the sheep. He said, feed my sheep. And people will leave a particular church saying, I ain't getting fed. Anybody heard that before? But even, and I've got a 3-year-old, almost 4-year-old in the house, I'll set some food in front of her, but she better be able to feed herself. So even to start, you better be able to feed yourself. Because only babies need to be spoon-fed or given a bottle. How many years have you been here and said, I need to be fed? I wish I could help somebody. Why did he give us these gifts? So that we might be perfected. I don't know about you, but I'm not perfect yet. And if I could go through my ABCs, and I want y'all to keep me with my letters, I might get too happy and forget where I'm going. But I'm going to get through this alphabet. The first letter is A. And I've got some anxiety. Anybody got some things I'm worried about. When I'm writing my sermon, I get anxious. My hands get cold, and I worry about, am I saying the right things? But the Bible teaches us, be anxious for nothing. By everything, by prayer and I wish I had some Bible students in here. Come on, somebody, help me out. Hey, I've got some attitude. And I can hear my mama and my wife say, roll your eyes one more time. Sometimes when I'm in my attitude, I roll my eyes and don't even realize I'm rolling my eyes. Sometimes when the weight of the world or the weight of the day is on my shoulders, I come home with an attitude. I know I'm talking about me. I can't help you. But sometimes the burdens of this life weigh down so heavy. And I have an attitude. Got some. B, I've got some brokenness. But how many know there's beauty in your brokenness? My brokenness is what makes me me. I can't be like you. I can only be me. But sometimes I feel so broken down. But he picks me up. And he puts me back together again. B, I've got some burdens. And I can remember Dr. Morgan telling a story about a young man who was carrying a heavy load. And he's hitchhiking on the side of the road, and a pickup truck comes to pick him up. He gets on the pickup truck, but he never lays down his heavy burden. How many know God wants to handle your heavy burden? Whatever you're carrying, you ought to let that burden go. You gotta ride, you gotta lift, let your burden go right there. I'm on letter C. I've got some complaints. Where's the complaint department? I'm upset about some things. I got some things going on in my life, at home, at work, that I just don't like. I've got some complaints. Who can I complain to? My good days far outweigh my bad days. complications. I'm on C. I'm getting there. I got some complications. Complications in my life. I don't know about you, but my life ain't been no crystal stair. I've got some things that just didn't go the way I thought they would go. But God said, go anyhow. I've got some complications. D, I've got some disappointments in my life. Again, it didn't work out how I thought it would work, but God is still working it out for my good. It did not go the way I would have it to go, but God said, keep on moving, keep on striving. I've got some depression. And how many know he'll come and see about you in your valley situation? You can sit there and have a pity party for yourself, but how many know there's love in the valley? There's happiness in the valley. There's some joy right there in the valley. In your valley situation, when you're feeling bad about yourself, I declare you and decree you ought to call on the name Jesus. And that'll take you right out of your depression. What letter am I on? Thank you. Keep up with me. I've got some ego. You can't tell me that I ain't the best. I wish you would, because that would just upset me. And you've got to have some kind of ego to do what you do. It makes no sense to do what you do if you don't think you're the best. You better think you're the best and nobody else think you're the best. But on the other hand of that, the other side of that, you ain't better than nobody. And when you begin to think you better than somebody, that's surely the quickest way you're going to fall. I've got some ego. You can't tell me that I'm not the best at what I do. I'll look myself in the mirror and you can talk about me as much as you want. Like, oh, they mistaken, you the best. And I don't know about you, but you better encourage yourself. Not to hurt nobody else, but to lift myself up, to get myself through the day. E, I've got some emotions. The songwriter said emotions will make you cry sometimes. And I called Mother Terry this week, and she began, as soon as she caught my voice, she began to cry. And I'm like, Mother Terry, I'm at work. I can't cry with you right now. I've got to get off this phone. And she began to just shout, God favored me. And even on yesterday when we saw her, she began to cry. And she said, these ain't tears of sadness I'm crying tears of joy. And she began to say, every time I think about my church family, my feet get light. My hands begin to move. Come on, somebody. F. Anybody ever had some F's? I got some. I've got some fragileness in my life. Sometimes the wind blows and I break down. Got some fragileness. But as the potter wants to put you back together again. I've got some fragileness. Maybe you strong, not like me, but I've got some fragileness. F, I got some flaws. Not perfect. Not perfect. I fall down, but I get back up. I fall down and I get back up. I fall down and I get back up. Got some flaws. F, I'm still on there. I've got some failures. It did not work out the way that I wanted to do. But everything I can do, all things through Christ. God said, that's not for you. I'm going to let you fail at that just so you know when you see success exactly what it looks like. Because some people take success for granted. So he has to let some failures come in there sometime. G, I got some garbage. And if you hang around garbage, you just might be garbage. And the thing about garbage smells sometimes. And sometimes you're so close to garbage that you have to be told, something stink around here. And it just might be me. You know, that's garbage right there. And it says, garbage in, garbage out. We need to clean up the garbage in our lives. I've got some garbage. I've got some guilt. Whatever you said I did, I'm probably guilty. Let me confess right now, I'm guilty. But I throw myself not on the mercy of the court. I throw myself at the mercy of his feet. I throw myself on the mercy of Jesus. I throw myself on the mercy of God. Judge me if you want to. I'm guilty, but judge me lest ye be judged. H. I've got some haters. And I don't care what you do, whether it be good or whether it be bad. You're going to have some people that will hate on you for whatever it is. I've got some haters. Haters to the left of me, haters to the right of me, haters in back of me. I'm not talking about y'all, but they all around me. I've got some hurt. I'm still on H. I've got some hurt. And one of those, nursery rhymes they teach you when you're growing up. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But if I give you praises, those words lift you up. But if I call you anything outside of your names, those words are designed to hurt you. Those words are declared to tear you down. That's what those words are exactly there. So when they tell you sticks and stones may break your bones and words may never hurt you, that's not the truth. Words will hurt you. Words will hurt you. That's why they came up with the N-word, to hurt you. And I don't care who's using it. They're using it to hurt you. I. These eyes see some things. I know I'm on letter I, but I. These two eyes see some things. I've got some illness. And nobody knows what your illness is. Earlier this month, I was diagnosed with shingles. And the doctor said, well, how old are you to have shingles? I said, well, I'm in my 40s. She's like, well, that's a little bit early. And my body began to break down, and my body was wrecking with pain. And my wife said, are you going to work? I'm going to work. She's like, well, did anybody there know that you're sick? Nobody knows I'm sick. Sometimes you got to not tell anybody what you're going through but God. Normally I run or I walk in the morning or in the afternoon. I'm like, I'm going to sit at my desk because my body is hurting me. But I couldn't tell anybody but God. My wife said, are you hurt? I said, I'm all right. I'm going to keep it moving. Sometimes when you're taking those punches, when you're taking those illnesses, you got to keep it moving. She said, did you tell Robert that you had shingles? I'm like, nope. Because he can't do nothing for me. Did you tell the people at your job that you might need to sit down? No, because they can't heal my body. Nobody but God. All I needed was a touch from Jesus. Did you tell Pastor Dumas that you had the shit? Nope. I'm going anyhow, and I'm going all the way. I've got some issues. I got issues. I don't know about you, but I got issues. That's exactly what this sermon is about. I've got some issues. So the things that are going on in your life, you ain't have to tell nobody but Jesus. And see when he work it out. See when he turn it around. I don't even think the boys in the house knew that I was sick. They said, what's that for? What are you doing there? Body just racking with pain. Body breaking up. Boy, you better get away from me. Jay, I've got some jealousy. It's some things out there that I see that I want that God has not given it to me yet. And I get jealous and then God comes back to me and he says, what God has for you. What God has for you. So what are you jealous over that mess for? I got something better for you. I've got something stronger for you. You may think you want that mess, but God said I got something better for you. I've got some junk in my life. Along with that garbage, I need to clean out the junk in my life. Clean up, and these are self-inflicted wounds. Clean up what I messed up. The junk in my life. K, and this is a big word. I got some kerfuffles in my life. And that just means confusion, some problems in your life. Kerfuffle. Somebody look that word up. Kerfuffle. I dare you say, you're not gonna, me and you're not gonna have a kerfuffle. That'll stun them right there. They'll be like, what is that? We're not gonna have an argument. We're not gonna have a disagreement. A kerfuffle. I've got some kinks in my life. Again, it ain't been smooth. Sometimes when I think I get started and the body breaks down. I want to go fast, but God says, slow down, son. I got some loneliness. Anybody got some lonely? He said he would never leave you or forsake you. But sometimes, again, with the pity parties, I feel so lonely. Another big word, I got some lasciviousness. Lasciviousness, thank you, Miss Dumas. Lasciviousness, and that's just a big word for lust. Again, the eyes. The eyes begin to see what they want and what they can't have. Come on, somebody. Judge me if you want to judge me, but lest ye be judged. Maybe I'm the only one that got some. I got some embarrassment. Anybody ever been embarrassed? Embarrassment. God said he will take all away your guilt and your shame. Have you ever had somebody put you on blast? They just tell all your business. But right now, I'm going to expose myself. I'm going to tell everything you need to know about me. And I won't be embarrassed anymore. I've got some mountains. Don't move my mountain, but give me the strength to climb. Don't move my mountain. I can climb it myself. Don't move my mountain, but give me the strength to climb. And I've got some envy. Somebody said that start with an E, but it's envy. I get envious of the things that people have. Again, God says, I got you. I'll take care of you. Are you